Alright, we got brand new clips for Godzilla vs Kong along with some behind the scenes B-roll. Let's talk about it. So the very first clip shows us an interaction between Gia and Kong before Rebecca Hall then gets involved, as we see Kong is pretty upset and frustrated until Gia, they touch fingers, and then straight away he backs off and calms down. And can I just mention, how good is Kong's fart in the rain? Like, how good does that CGI look? Honestly, I can't rave on about it enough. Anyway, Gia is clearly just trying to calm Kong down a bit to reassure him that these people aren't trying to hurt him, they're trying to help him. Although I do feel like Monarch are just kind of using him, at least Skarsgård's character is. I think he does care for him and he does root for him, but I feel like he is just using him, whereas Rebecca Hall cares more for Gia as well. She does care about Kong and Skull Island as a habitat, as we do here later on, but yeah, I do think Kong's worries are justified, as we can see Rebecca Hall trying to tell Gia, it's not safe out here. Gia's saying, no, look, he just is scared and angry and frustrated, and Rebecca Hall's trying to tell her that they're trying to help him. Then Gia says he doesn't believe you, and we can see just Kong watching on in the background, looking at them. They're obviously talking with sign language, as Gia is deaf and Rebecca Hall knows how to, so Kong can understand that, can tell from his face he understands exactly what's going on, but I don't think he's buying a word of what Rebecca Hall is saying. I also really like what they do with Gia, it's similar to like A Quiet Place, Millicent Simmons' character in that, where they muffle out all the rest of the sound and we see it and hear it from her point of view. And it makes it all that more emotional when there's no sound between her and Kong, and it's just the music. It's really nice, and yeah, I just really enjoy their interactions, and I think that's where a lot of the emotion of the film's going to come from. And yeah, everything I've seen between them so far looks great, so thumbs up to that. In the next clip, we see a frigate battleship going under the water, being dragged down like the barrels in Jaws as Godzilla drags it into the depths. As Kong watches on, and we just get another nice wee high definition look at the sedatives they've put in his collar there, I believe, to just keep him calmed down. I think it's sedatives anyway, it looks like something like that, something they can pump into him to maybe knock him out if he gets too aggravated or anything like that. But yeah, Kong watches the ship go under. I wonder if this is the same ship he tries to pull up later by its anchor. And just after that, Godzilla tips the boat over. We see the absolute desperation in Kong's face as the boat goes under, bobs back up, and he gasps for air. And it just looks terrifying. If you've ever been on a kayak and that shit capsizes, it's similar to that. You just want to get straight back up, straight back to where the oxygen is. And yeah, I feel for Kong in this instance. It's not the very best first meeting he could have had with Godzilla chained up on a boat. Totally out of his comfort zone and in no position to fight as of right now. Obviously he does break those chains off, but it's just cool to see him so vulnerable when they first meet. And yeah, it was a nice little clip to see. Now moving on to the behind the scenes B-roll, we kick it off with Rebecca Hall, Skarsgård's character, I can't remember his name, and Gia coming out of what I'm guessing is the Monarch facility, the dome that they have actually built over Skull Island. It's not a facility elsewhere or anything like that. They haven't built a fake Skull Island like some of us were thinking earlier on in the marketing. They've actually just built this dome over Skull Island, and Monarch actually might be the ones who absolutely destroyed its ecosystem and really fucked up the island. So Kong probably doesn't like them all that much. Anyway, as they come out of this sort of elevator entrance here, we hear Skarsgård and Rebecca Hall arguing as he wants to take Kong off Skull Island to help them, and we hear Rebecca Hall saying, no, I'm not letting you drag him halfway around the world after we've already destroyed his habitat. And just one thing I wanted to note is Skarsgård's character almost seemed pretty goofy in this scene. I'm not sure what they were going for with his character, but they almost, this trio here almost seemed as goofy as Madison, Bernie and Josh, the other trio we'll see later in the video, and I'm not too sure if I like that. I thought they were going to be the more serious tone trio going forward. You know, Team Kong were a little bit more on the serious side, and I think you do need some serious characters to balance out the goofy ones. So yeah, I hope they aren't too cheesy, too silly, and it's just like that in this scene. And as the movie goes on, things get a little bit more serious as things ramp up and the stakes get higher. So let's move on to that goofy gang, but I do like them. We see Bernie and Josh and Madison talking as they meet up with him for the first time, and he is actually a former Apex employee, so he's probably got some insider knowledge that they want to know as they are trying to figure out what is making Godzilla so pissed off. He tells them there's actually transmissions being sent out from Apex, so they're probably doing an Orca kind of thing where they've maybe reverse engineered it, and they've crafted this transmission that's specifically for Godzilla to piss him off, and that's probably what's making him attack all of these facilities, along with Ghidorah's, you know, leftover head skull being used in Mechagodzilla's construction. Anyway, we then see them go and infiltrate an Apex base. I'm pretty sure this is the same one that Godzilla attacks at Pensacola, as some of the place is all ripped up and teared up. Either Godzilla's just attacked. It does look like Pensacola, the same kind of buildings, industrial vibe. Either Godzilla's blown this up or something has escaped, possibly a skullcrawler. In the next shot, we then see Josh with some looking goofy with some skullcrawler eggs. I just love this kid, this actor. If you've not seen Hunt for the Wilder People, definitely watch it. Great film. Sam Neill's in there. Yeah, he's funny, man. He's just funny. But yeah, I believe this is inside the Pensacola base, Apex base, or the Hong Kong Apex base, one of them. We do know that Apex are going to use these skullcrawler eggs to lure Kong, as well as Mechagodzilla. They're using baby skullcrawlers to train Mechagodzilla. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. We then see them walk into this big hangar where I believe is like kind of like a training arena for Mechagodzilla. We see a big eyeball that's been ripped out just behind them on the ramp there. Awesome. Love seeing some gore in these big giant monster movies. Obviously when they keep the ratings down, we don't see much of it, but it's always nice to see some gore even if it is from monsters. I love that kind of stuff. And also, can I get this guy's job who's sitting at the top of the ramp? Sitting down, making movies all day, that looks brilliant. Anyway, we see them walk in further. They're all looking up at something. Obviously, we don't see anything here. They're probably going to CGI in some stuff. But anyway, Josh and Bernie end up running off as baby skullcrawlers probably come chasing them down. Madison's just behind them, but she actually falls and looks like she's about to get killed. Eaten by a baby skullcrawler, not the best way to go, but just before she is and she turns away, something stops whatever was coming after her, and it's probably Mechagodzilla. He probably picks this baby skullcrawler up and absolutely obliterates it. As we see them coming down into this sort of viewing deck, I'll call it. Maybe this is where all the scientists and engineers sit, watching Mechagodzilla perform and looking out for things they have to work on as he fights these baby skullcrawlers. In the next shot, we see that viewing deck getting absolutely sprayed with all sorts of blood and guts, probably from those baby skullcrawlers, as Mechagodzilla absolutely destroys them outside. And then in the opposite shot of that, we are back in the viewing deck with the Goofy Gang as blood splatter is now dripping from the windows. In the little screen in between Madison and Bernie as well, we see some pics of Mechagodzilla, you know, his diagnostics, everything like that. Bernie says something, but I can't quite make it out, so if you did, let me know in the comment section down below. Madison says basically they are trying to replace him, you know, talking about Mechagodzilla being created to replace the real Godzilla. And then obviously they come to the conclusion this is why Godzilla's been so pissed off, all that, blah, blah, blah. We all know that stuff, but it's just nice now to have it all confirmed. And I think this is going to be a really cool sequence of the film, being inside this Apex facility with all these shady goings on, and then seeing baby skullcrawlers chasing them down, having a nice chase sequence through there, and then finishing it off with an epic reveal of Mechagodzilla absolutely destroying baby skullcrawlers. After that, we then see some more Hollow Earth stuff. We can actually see in the back what looks like a human man-made structure almost. I don't know, maybe some sort of creature burrowed through and made all these archways and holes in the Hollow Earth. Or maybe it was some ancient civilization, who knows. But we see one of the Monarch troops get absolutely wiped out. He might get picked up and thrown off by a leaf wing, what we saw in the TV spot yesterday, or it could be a brand new Monsterverse creature or brand new Titan. It just happens to inhabit the Hollow Earth. Either way, it looks like Skarsgård, Rebecca Hall and Gia are going to go through some crazy shit getting Kong from Skull Island to Antarctica, then to the Hollow Earth, then to his throne room to regain his axe. We actually hear Skarsgård at one point say their entire fleet was wiped out on this journey, so yeah, expect heavy Monarch casualties. Then back in the control centre of Ghidorah's skull for Mechagodzilla, we actually see, just behind Adam Wingard here on these screens, you can see like Mechagodzilla's diagnostics and then a human's vitals as well, so it just shows you that they are using that human machine link like Pacific Rim, but I'm pretty sure they'd done this for one of the older Mechagodzillas as well, where it was human controlled, so I like that. I think if it was just an empty monster being controlled by a guy miles away like a drone, it wouldn't be as emotional and just, you know, it wouldn't have as much risk to it, as much stakes. Whereas if Ren Serizawa is in there and he's actually an okay character that we all like, as long as he's like a villain in the way we can see where he's coming from, we might actually care about him. And while Godzilla and Kong are fighting against Mechagodzilla, we might actually think like, oh shit, can you go a little bit easier guys, because there's a dude inside there and he's actually alright, we don't want you to kill him. But if he is a total dick and he's in there, we'll be like, fucking rip the head off, crush that guy, like, do you know what I mean? So yeah, I like that they're going that route with it. Then at the end we see Madison and Josh escape from this Apex facility, but we don't see Bernie, so could Bernie meet his end in this Apex facility, either to Mechagodzilla or one of the baby skullcrawlers? We shall see. Maybe he sacrifices himself to let them escape. But yeah, let me know what you made of all this in the comment section down below. We're not far away now from release. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and if you're new, subscribe. As always, thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.